is office hours.
We are going to just give you some updates on what's been happening under the gun this week. Pretty exciting week, Kevin Mullaney.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Well, I guess because we had a bunch of reviews, which are kind of unusual to have a bunch at once.
Yeah, it kind of stemmed from the Mission Theater, TJ and Dave's theater, decided to turn keys back over to Sharna and have her take back the programming of that space.
Right. So this is our theory of how these reviews came about for us.
So Chris Jones wrote an article about how they really missed an opportunity. They really could have given Second City a run for their money if somebody in this town would just do some sketch comedy, because Second City, they're selling out. The audiences are hungry for sketch comedy. If only someone in Chicago would do some sketch comedy. And I went on a bit of a Facebook rant. I got pretty upset by it because now I understand. Now, here's the thing. I understand print media coverage has been cut, has been slashed. So freelancers they have to cover the equity theaters, that not as many people are reading print media. Everything's going online, the paywall, all of this stuff. There used to be entire sections dedicated to comedy. And in the beginning, they were all dedicated to stand-up. So everybody else who did any other form of comedy had to like shake the wall and be like, there's other stuff than stand-up out there. You have to look at other stuff. So then slowly the print media started to turn over and start looking at different improv shows and different scripted shows that were happening around town. And as budgets started getting cut, Time Out went away from being print completely online. All those sections started getting cut. The dedicated critics the Reader had a dedicated comedy critic. Ryan Hubbard, he moved away. Time Out had a dedicated comedy section. They completely have cut coverage on that section. And so the only thing you hear about in comedy anymore is Second City. And rightfully so. They're amazing and they're equity. So I understand the equity theaters need to be covered.
Yeah.
But to say that nobody in this town is doing sketch comedy or any type of written comedy is absurd. It just, to me, that says you're not looking around. You're in such a bubble.
Right.
How can you possibly say that there's not just hundreds of scripted comedies going on or improv all around the city? To say somebody should give that Second City a run for their money, it's like you don't know what the economic climate is out there. People aren't finding out about these other shows because there's no coverage. So your marketing completely is based on word of mouth and guerrilla marketing. And because nobody's covering it. And even TJ and Dave said this on Justin Kaufman's show, like people didn't know about our shows because nobody would cover it. These guys are on TV. These guys have won awards and they couldn't get coverage. So there's just a fundamental issue with the arts coverage in Chicago ignoring comedy as a genre, I think. I said all this on Facebook, and I happen to be Facebook friends with a lot of critics. I am friends with certain critics that I would say I'm actually friends with. Like I would go out and have dinner with or call on them for advice or something. And then there's some freelancers that I'm just friends with because it's like good networking.
Sure.
And so my theory is I went on this Facebook rant. It got quite a bit of attention from other storefront slumdogs. That's what I call them.
Yeah, well, so rants tend to be very shareable on Facebook. People like a good rant, a good fight.
So I feel like some of these freelancers saw my rant and saw people's reaction specifically to my rant and said, all right, Big Mouth, just put your money where your mouth is.
So they decided to send some critics to
all at once. All at once. Almost no notice. They were like, hope people come, hope it's good. And if it's not.
Yeah. Because we've been
reviewed.
Yeah, we've been reviewed.
Sporadically.
Yeah.
But mostly the show's already been a hit. And then they were like, hey, you should check out that hit.
Yeah. Or something that's been open for a really long time. And then it's just like somebody came to see based on a true story, I think like
3 weeks before it closed.
Right.
And trending 2 weeks before
which had been going for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trending one right before. Yeah, that was really fun. Anyway, so we got a bunch of reviews. They've been pretty good reviews.
They've been great reviews. We're waiting on a couple more to come out that we'll see.
So the ones we've seen so far are great.
So far, we put our money where our mouth is.
And we should talk maybe a little bit about the Whodunit show, because that was the first one. That one was the first one that got reviewed.
Yeah.
And that one is running every week, and that one's doing really well.
Yeah, for summer standards, that's doing really well, especially because we haven't gotten a lot of write-ups about it. No. And we haven't even been listed everywhere about it. So the fact that it's pulling in like a solid 40 people a night with very little support from the papers is actually really impressive. Mm-hmm. We originally just did it as it was a tournament show. It's the serial parody was a tournament show. And
we had a tournament called the Tournament of Show Ideas, and people submitted shows. Angie's idea was a parody of Serial.
Now, let me tell you where this idea came from, because Kevin really wanted to do a show called Vajazzled. He really had his heart set on people are going to love. I don't remember that. That is how the idea of the Tournament of Shows came about. You were like, I'm going to put it out there. People are going to vote if they love Vajazzled or Pacino Prov.
I think my idea was Pacino Prov, not Vajazzled.
So the people voted on what they wanted to see.
My ideas did not win.
I really, on a whim, put out the parody of Serial, and the day of it, like we rehearsed it twice, and I turned to Kevin. I was like, "Oh, this isn't going to win. This is going to be terrible." And we were going against Ben Bowman's his news show where they were doing like Mystery Science Theater with the news, and I really thought like, "Oh, this is going to get monotonous with all these monologues and everything." But people loved it, and so Stephen Cadwell pitched the Sherlock Holmes show, and we thought that would be a good pairing. And people have really just responded so well to the two shows. So it's going to extend again through the end of October. And we're just going to keep working on making it better and tightening both shows. And as long as people keep coming, we'll keep doing it.
That's how it works in theater.
Yeah. But
I think the funny thing to me about that is like, I'm the guy, I've been doing podcasts since 2007, I think.
Oh, that's when I was born.
And I listen to tons of podcasts every week. Like I'm backed up. I've got 300 episodes of podcasts to listen to on my phone. And Angie listens to one podcast. She's one of the 50 million people who listen to their first podcast, that being Serial, and decided, let's do a show.
Yeah.
And it's a hit.
Well, it's not a hit.
Well, it's kind of a hit.
It's doing well.
It's not a hit yet, but it's on its way. It's doing well.
It's doing well.
Anyway, so yes, that's one of the shows reviewed. We have
and then I had another dumb idea, and that got reviewed really crazy well. We had a cancellation.
Oh, right.
So Louis was supposed to do a show, and he got a new job and whatever. So we had this hole in the calendar. So I was like, let's just do like everybody dig up old diary entries and we'll read them on stage. And I just call it TBT at the Throwback Thursday. It really was just
#TBT.
I really was just me being like, oh, I got to fill this hole. And
Angie loves hashtags.
I do. And I love Throwback Thursday. Ask Alex LeBaron. And that review was so kind. Like that was one of the best reviews I've ever gotten.
And the thing that's cool about that, I think, is we've done several shows like this where we come up with a theme and then we ask the ensemble mostly to just submit pieces to it. And we do a show called Welcome to the Stage, which is kind of this, it's a very, in some ways, kind of low key show because we don't curate it so much. We just say, ensemble, bring something, and it's like a potluck. And those shows have been terrific. And they've been mostly for ourselves. So it's really nice to have Throwback Thursday because I think there was a lot of invited guests, but it was there was a nice audience, and it was very good to get reviewed. And I think if people would give those shows a chance, things like Throwback Thursday, Shame on You, Welcome to the Stage, when that's on, I think people would really enjoy those shows. They're really fun. Mm-hmm. Kind of potluck of comedy.
That should be our nickname, the potluck of comedy.
Thursday
night potluck.
But I also liked how one of the reviewers, maybe I think it was for the history show, sort of picked up on the idea of how called it what we were doing, like populist, have a populist strain or in our approach.
Yeah.
And I think that is something we try to do, where we try to really think about what shows people might want to come see, because really, as a brand new theater, we don't have a built-in audience yet. We can't just put a show up that's good on its own and expect people to find it. We have to also, it has to be a good show, but it also has to have an idea behind it that
connects with people.
And so we try lots of different things and try to find the things that do connect with people.
Yeah.
You want to talk about what's your one, if you're going to go see one show this weekend, what would your recommendation be?
My recommendation would be Sweet Talk. That's going to be on Sunday at 7:30.
No. Is it 7:30?
Yeah, because the special. No, it's 7:30 because the special apprentice show is at 9.
So, that's right. It's the middle show. 7:30.
The middle show. 7:30. The 23rd on Sunday. I would come see that, because not only is there going to be cool storytelling, which we don't do a ton of storytelling as much as we used to do when we were just at the Apollo, but it's going to be a dedicated storytelling night, and you get a slice of homemade pie included in your admission.
It's free.
Free pie.
Free pie for pie and monologues. And then I would recommend coming on Thursday night for kind of a similar show, maybe not as sweet, because it's based on the idea of shame and humiliation. It's a show called Shame on You. It's on Thursday nights at 9:30, and it's a comedy show, stand-up, storytelling mainly, those two things, some other stuff sometimes, based on their idea around shame and humiliation and other things that make us laugh about that.
This is my favorite thing, because the last time you did the show, I walked in and I was like, "Are you okay?" And it looked like you were going to hyperventilate. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And you were like, "I don't know why I came up with this show. It's very nerve-wracking."
Well, it's hard because here's the problem with this show, from a thematic point of view. You want to talk about something that is vulnerable to a certain extent, right? That is that's maybe difficult to wrestle with it in a bit. But when you're talking about shame, things either tend to fall into one of two categories: things that you are truly ashamed of that you don't want anyone to know, and therefore do not want to talk about it in front of an audience, or things that maybe you felt ashamed of once, but really aren't a big deal. And so it's not really vulnerable to talk about these things. So I had a really difficult time. I still don't think I told the right story last time.
I thought it was funny. I laughed at your pain.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
It's fine. I'm always, you're always thinking things go worse than you.
You really, I was worried. I was like, we should get the ambulance here, because he's.
Well, I think I got a better topic this week. Something that I think I am a little ashamed of as in my personal life these days, but I'm comfortable talking about it. So
okay,
that'll be a little better.
That'll be fun.
Jimmy Crane is one of the guests, Gabe Caruso. And I'm sorry. I know that Claire has invited some really great people who I don't have their names at my disposal, but it's going to be like 5 or 6 people performing, including me and Claire.
Then we should wrap it up with what I think is one of our most fun shows that's going on right now. Like, really, all of them are great, but this one is really garnering a lot of fun.
Excitement.
Got
some sizzle.
It's a little sizzly. Is the Saturday night mic fight on Saturdays at 10:30. We have this. The girls leave these props in here. This is just a bit of the sizzle is the glitter hats.
If you like glitter hats.
It's glitter on glitter on glitter hats.
No, think about what's that new reality show the kids are all watching, the where they lip sync battle. Imagine that.
But
except they actually sing.
And they costume, they have teams. The teams, you have to vote on the team, and they have the different rounds.
4 different teams each week performing different karaoke songs.
And the theme this week is
it One Hit Wonders?
One Hit Wonder.
One Hit Wonders.
One Hit Wonder.
Which is always a great karaoke theme.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. As always, all of our shows, if you purchase them in advance on our website, you can choose your price. So you can choose how much you want to give or how little you'd like to give.
Yeah, for most of our shows. Is it any of our shows?
Currently, nothing is not flexible.
Okay, so everything is flexible at this point.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to purchase some tickets in advance.
That's what she said.
You're a dork.
Yeah. She didn't actually. Didn't come up.
Nope. What else? Kevin Mulaney? I'm going on vacation next week. I'm going to the Wisconsin Dells.
Yeah. So actually, any ensemble members who are watching this, if you'd like to be a guest on Office Hours next week, let me know. Angie will have to train me how to start one of these hangouts, and we'll do another one next week. And also, if there's any ensemble members who would like to re-edit this, chop it down, remix it, maybe put a little auto-tune on it, do a shortened version.
So this is a help wanted. At the end of this, it became a little help wanted ad. Awesome. So this is a new podcast from Under the Gun Theater.
More of a webcast.
It's a webcast
It's a webcast.
It's a webcast that will turn into a podcast, whatever that is.
Yeah, we might podcast it as well. Audio podcast it.
Audio podcasting. I don't know.
I guess you can do web podcasts.
Can you do both? Can you?
Either way, this part will be edited out.
Well, you can't. This if they watch it live, this is it. They're watching it.
Yeah, but it's going to live forever on YouTube.
Right. It's like it'll currently go up on YouTube like right away.
Exactly.
So then how do you edit it?
You download it.
Oh, and then you redo it and then re-put it out?
Yeah, people do it all the time on YouTube.
I think YouTube's dumb.
She doesn't understand how YouTube works.
No.
Except she knows how to do these. All right, that's it. We'll see you probably next Tuesday on Office Hours at Under the Gun.
Bye. Ooh, Molly's mad.